This is IGN. Crash on delivery. This is your IGN review of Deliver at All Costs by Tristan Ogilvie. As far as package shipping simulators go, Deliver at All Costs more closely resembles drunk driving than it does Death Stranding. There's no need for complicated weight management or careful navigation through its 1950s small-town USA setting. Instead, this kooky courier quest loads your pickup truck with increasingly quirky cargo and sends you careening through road signs, fences, shop fronts, and countless pedestrians, with almost every dispatched delivery quickly devolving into a full-on destruction derby. It's a riotously good time for a while, but it soon starts to sputter out and eventually breaks down well before it reaches the end of its 10-hour journey, when its nonsensical sci-fi story fails to pay off, and this world turns out to be far more rewarding to reduce to rubble than it is to actually explore. There is a plot connecting all of its street-shredding shipments, but honestly, the less said about it, the better. You're Winston Green, a likable fresh hire at the We Deliver Corporation, who's seemingly on the run after a mysterious incident in his past. Though it begins as a sort of goofy workplace comedy, it soon makes jarring tonal shifts into corporate crime conspiracies, and eventually a preposterous tale of time travel, before crash landing into a fast-tracked climax that left me feeling about as hollow as someone who's tried to make a meal out of packing peanuts. Deliver at All Costs story is a bit like a box of flat-packed furniture delivered from IKEA. It's full of interesting parts to pore over, but once you've put it all together, it seems noticeably wonkier than you expected, and it's clear that there's more than a couple of screws loose. The real star is the staggering destructibility of its world, which is viewed from your choice of two top-down angles. Pretty much everything above ground can be satisfyingly smashed asunder as you tear around in your delivery truck, turning every apartment block into a potential Jenga tower. There's admittedly an overly fragile and weightless feel to it all. It's a bit like crashing through houses made of cards rather than bricks and mortar, because you rarely feel the impact or lose momentum. But punching my own shortcuts through everything from hotel lobbies to tennis courts and tombstone-covered graveyards kept me consistently amused for at least the first half of the drive. I gleefully sped around chewing through scenery like I was Nicolas Cage in Face Off. Pretty much the only time I pumped the brakes was when I had to keep something from spilling out of my truck bed, or whenever I hit one of the abrupt loading screens that separates each district of the 3 cities that make up its decently sized open-world map. Deliver at All Costs' 20-mission-long chain of violent cargo hauls aren't so much door-to-door as they are wall-through-wall, but that's not to say I didn't face some resistance along the way. Different challenges are introduced in keeping with the object that's dumped into the back of your truck or dragged behind you with a winch, and a few entertainingly wacky work orders had me laughing out loud. Unfortunately, though, there are almost as many duds in the mix as there are standouts. Being asked to drive recklessly to scare a limousine full of crooked executives doesn't really come as a break from the norm when you've been otherwise hurtling around like a madman during each and every other job, for example. Elsewhere in Deliver at All Costs, there's rarely any substantial consequences for your actions, and that makes it start to get dull sooner than it seems like it should. If you accidentally flip your car over, it will automatically right itself. If you bust a tire, you can hop out and instantly repair it with the tap of a button. On the one hand, the general lack of rules or repercussions gave me the freedom to drive as recklessly as I wanted to, but it also meant that almost everything felt noticeably low in stakes. In its best moments, Deliver at All Costs is as entertaining as it is uneven. For every truly creative cargo haul twist, there's another that's uninspired or lacking in intensity and urgency. And although there's certainly fun to be had crashing through its many structures like a bully through a sandcastle, the novelty wears off long before it ends, and all you're left with is an impressively realized 1950s world with depressingly little else to do in it. Throw in a silly slapdash story and some toys for your truck you're largely forbidden from playing with, and Deliver at All Costs is one shipment that's far from the complete package. Deliver at All Costs IGN score? 6 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest updates on Deliver at All Costs, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.